Xiaoyang, drained of luck and strength, could barely keep his eyes open. His body screamed in pain, but his mind screamed louder, "You beast, you monster." Then his gaze found Luo Wing, and with a trembling voice, he whispered, "Elder sister." The old man smirked, his voice cold but weirdly calm, "Don't worry, it won't kill you." At that moment, a monk raised her bow from the shadows, her arrow glowing with deadly energy. "Don't let him finish that technique," she warned. The old man glanced at her like someone watching a fly buzz at his dinner plate. "Well, if she won't wait for me to finish, it's not my fault." And then, he threw Luo Wing straight into the path of the arrow. "Elder sister." Xiaoyang's scream cracked the air. Luo Wing, eyes full of shock and tears, didn't even have time to react. Boom! A massive explosion tore through the space where she had been. The shockwave threw Xiaoyang back like a broken kite in a storm. He tumbled across the ground. No, she was my only family." The old man, still grinning, looked at Gu Changge. "You set up a fine game, traps in every corner, timing like clockwork." He paused, voice growing icy. "But do you really think surrounding me with a bunch of enlightened monks means you've already won?" As if on cue, dozens, no, hundreds, of phantom projections flickered into existence behind him. A whole legion of spiritual echoes of his cultivation. Each one buzzing with power. Gu Changge chuckled, the corner of his mouth curling up. Now this is the ruler of the 9 mountains. That magical power? No joke. On any other day, you'd be untouchable. He tilted his head with amusement. Pity today isn't one of those days. Then both their voices rang out in eerie harmony. Kill. In the blink of an eye, the battlefield exploded into chaos. Fists clashed, spells flew, swords sang, and in the middle of it all, a strange magical beast-shaped attack swooped at the old man from behind. But he didn't even flinch. With one smooth twist, he dodged it like someone sidestepping a toddler with a foam sword. "Humph," he muttered. "I've been gone for a while and this is what passes for an ambush now. You dare call yourselves hunters?" So, this fierce lady, brimming with confidence, charges toward the old man like she's about to rewrite history. She yells, "Let me teach you." But before she can even swing, the guy vanishes like smoke in the wind. She blinks. Huh? Space escape? Then she looks around, trying to slash open the void like, "Fine, I'll rip reality myself." Yeah, doesn't work. The space is sealed tighter than a locked-up Wi-Fi password. She stops, just in time to see the old man standing right in front of her, like a horror movie jump scare. He goes, "You really don't know how high the sky is," and with a snap of his fingers, boom. Head. Gone. From there, he's basically doing a victory lap through the battlefield, casually wiping out upper-world monks like he's cleaning dust off a shelf. But then, bam! A surprise attack hits him out of nowhere. It's the old skeleton. And he's yelling, "Fight stubbornly," like he's in the final round of a boxing match. The old man scoffs. The pinnacle of enlightenment? From you? Then boom, a massive clash. A giant spectral hand versus the skeletal one. It's like watching Thanos slap a Halloween prop. Meanwhile, 2 guys in fancy robes are having a telepathic gossip session. Green robe, "Yo, should we help?" Red robe, "Help? Bro, we're barely keeping Gu Changge distracted. Let him handle the big boss himself. We're not paid enough for this." The old man glances over. 9 mountains immortal seal? A flash of power surges, he conjures his Dharma body like it's nothing and blocks the seal. "Please. This is child's play." But Gu Changge steps forward with that classic smug energy. "Seems like if we want to take down the mountain lord, we'll need to use the real stuff." The old man's eyes widen. "Wait. Immortal slaying gourd. Gu Changge, exactly. Perfect for killing half-baked immortals like you." Boom. The old man's Dharma body shatters like glass. He coughs up blood, staggering. Damn. If this realm's laws weren't so broken, there's no way you'd land a scratch on me. The gourd charges again. The old man knows he's finished. "You really are terrifying. I walked right into your trap. But in the future, just wait," and then he senses something worse. From behind, surprise. Nishang emerges from the void, holding the Bone Clan's ultimate treasure, the bone nail. His eyes go wide. "You? How did you sneak up on me?" Nishang calmly replies, "You're too injured to sense me. If you were in peak form, I wouldn't get within 10 steps of you." Then Gu Changge, voice like he's checking off a list, "Of course, Mountain Lord. I made very thorough preparations." The old man lets out a bitter sigh. "So many years. I've ruled with unmatched power, and today, I fall to a brat." Gu Changge doesn't even blink. With a telepathic smirk, he mutters, "Hard to say who's the younger one here." The old man's voice trembles. "What do you mean by that?" Gu Changge cuts him off coldly. "Why explain anything, to the dead?" And just like that, the mountain lord falls. His phantoms fade like mist. A nearby monk looks up. Wait, disappeared? The red-robed man glances back, blinking. That fast? It's already over. So the next day, boom, rumors explode like popcorn in a fire. Report. The Great Mountain Lord is dead. He broke the agreement, tried to pull a secret rescue mission for the Second Mountain Lord and the others, but Gu Changge caught him in the act and absolutely flattened him in the dungeon. People everywhere froze. Wait, what? The weird celestial disturbance from last night, that was him dying. Are you telling me he acted without telling anyone? Does he not know we live here too? Panic hits like a wave. Someone shouts, we're doomed now. If Gu Changge thinks we're part of this, we'll be next. Another one yells, quick. Let's go surrender before we get a visit from one of his soul-pulverizing magical lawnmowers. So they gather up their best diplomatic robes, iron their apologies, and rush off to meet Gu Changge. They all cupped their hands, and one representative stepped forward like a straight-A student caught cheating but trying to charm the teacher. Young Master Changge, after thorough discussion, we deeply understand your incredible kindness over the past 3 days. We've decided, unanimously, to sign the peace treaty and stop this miserable war. Right now. Immediately. No takebacks. Gu Changge, totally unfazed, gives them a look like he expected this exact move. Seems like you're all smart people, he says with a smile, as smooth as jade. I respect smart people. And then, casually, like he's delegating the cleaning of his spiritual mansion. I'll be leaving the 8 desolations in 10 regions soon. If you need to report anything, or start panicking again, just go to Tianlu City. Tianlu Zuanf will be in charge here now. Tianlu Zuanf, who is standing nearby, turns red faster than a steamed dumpling. He trusts me, that much, she thinks, stunned. Gu Changge chuckles privately and sends a telepathic message her way, how is it? She lowers her eyes, probably blushing all the way down to her bones. Then he turns to the Bone Clan. Oh, by the way, starting today, the Bone Clan's center status? Gone. Wiped clean. Get ready to come with me to the upper realm in 2 days. You'll receive your official seal there. The old skeleton, who's basically been riding the emotional roller coaster this whole arc, cups his hands deeply. Thank you, sir. That night, under the quiet glow of the stars, Gu Changge didn't sleep, he leveled up. He finally broke through to the pinnacle of the quasi-emperor realm. While the world slept, Gu Changge stood there, absorbing that terrifying, mountaintop energy, and thinking to himself, so the Great Mountain Lord really was built different, that kind of origin power? Not something you find lying around. And that epic mark, that's the good stuff. No wonder Luo Feng didn't just pop during the whole Steal the Sky death match. Ding! Suddenly, the system chimed in like a mobile game you forgot you installed. System notification, killed the son of Super Locke, Luo Feng, Wind Ancestor. Congratulations. Reward obtained, Epic Brand. Then another one popped up like it was handing out raffle prizes, system notification, killed the son of Locke, Xiao Yang. Congratulations. Reward obtained, Summoning Altar. Gu Changge, looking calm but definitely smiling inside, mused to himself, so, the old man absorbed Xiao Yang and his sister's abilities, could only summon some guardian bloodline. Kinda mid, honestly. But me? With this altar, his eyes gleamed like someone unlocking premium DLC. Could I actually summon the ancestors of the Gu family themselves? Then he glanced toward the distant sky, his tone calm but purposeful. The mess here in the 8 desolations in 10 regions is wrapped up. Time to head back to the upper realm. And then, like a guy wondering if he left the stove on, he muttered, I heard Ming Kong is already preparing to take over the Wushuang Immortal Dynasty. Then his expression softened a bit, and he asked himself, I wonder if she misses me. At the Immortal Dynasty, the hall was packed with ministers in shiny robes and serious faces. And then in perfect chorus, they all declared like a well-rehearsed fan club, welcome to Empress Ming Kong's throne. Long live the Empress. Ming Kong stood proud, elegant as ever, but her eyes were sharp. I trust you've all seen what happens to those who try to block my path to the throne, she said, with a calm tone that somehow felt more threatening than a blade at the neck. So I hope you'll all be smarter. One minister, clearly trying to score early points, raised his hand like a student in class. Your Majesty, perhaps it's time to begin preparing your marriage to young Master Gu Changge? And just as the room was getting comfy, boom, a terrifying aura burst into the hall. It felt like someone had opened a pressure cooker full of old grudges. A deep voice growled, Ming Kong girl, you've grown up, huh? People went pale. One minister practically whispered in horror. W8, is that the Yueshang patriarch coming out of seclusion? Yep. The big boss had arrived. The patriarch locked eyes with Ming Kong and said, you're engaged to that Gu family brat, and now you're sitting on the Immortal Dynasty's throne? So tell me, is he marrying into us, or are you marrying into him? Without flinching, Ming Kong replied, of course, it's me who's marrying him. That answer did not please the old ancestor. He narrowed his eyes and said, "So what now? You plan to hand over our entire immortal dynasty to the Gu family, boy? That's what this is." But Ming Kong stood her ground, regal and razor-sharp. "Ancestor Yueshang, this marriage was arranged when we were children. I earned this throne myself. Don't twist it." The patriarch wasn't backing down. "Then abdicate the throne, or divorce him." Boom. That word hit like a slap in the middle of the imperial court. Ministers instantly started whispering to each other like a pack of gossiping parrots. But Ming Kong just met his pressure with calm defiance. "Old ancestor Yueshang, you've only just stepped out of retreat. Maybe you've missed a few things. Let me be blunt, Changge doesn't need to covet our immortal dynasty. With his current power and influence, he could take it if he wanted." The pressure from the Yueshang patriarch thickened like storm clouds. "Outrageous," he barked. "This dynasty is the #1 in the upper realm. It's been standing since before the Forbidden Era. When I went into seclusion, Gu Changge was just a little brat. How strong could he be now?" But Ming Kong didn't budge, even under the weight of his spiritual pressure. She looked him dead in the eyes and said, "Clearly, you don't know him. I want to sit on this throne. And I want to marry that man." The Yueshang patriarch's aura surged again, practically cracking the palace tiles. He growled, "And what if I don't agree?" One brave soul in the crowd whispered like he was watching a live bomb being defused. Is he seriously about to attack? But he's an enlightened being. Tension? Thicker than spirit jelly. And then, a hand calmly rested on the patriarch's shoulder. A voice, low and almost too casual, "Disagree?" It was Gu Changge. Yueshang turned, only to feel a terrifying pressure slam down like a mountain, knees buckling without a fight. Gu Changge leaned in just a bit and whispered, "How about dying?" Ming Kong blinked in surprise. "Changge? You're back?" Even the ministers, who had probably just rehearsed bowing to her yesterday, all gasped, "Young Master Changge." He casually dusted off his sleeves like he'd just finished grocery shopping. "Yeah, the 8 desolations in 10 regions have all surrendered." One minister muttered in shock, "What? Tianlu City was just taken. How'd he finish a war that fast?" Then Gu Changge, ever so lightly brushing off drama, looked around and said, "Honestly, I didn't plan to interfere in family matters." He stepped closer to Ming Kong. "But there are some bad people who won't let me marry you. That I can't ignore." He slid his hand into hers, smooth as butter. "And Empress Ming Kong's rise to the throne is the best thing to happen to this dynasty." Then with a playful grin, "Your Majesty, please, take your seat." Ming Kong looked at her hand like it had suddenly turned into a marriage certificate. Meanwhile Gu Changge, theatrical king, raised his voice and said, "Welcome, Empress Ming Kong ascends the throne. Long live her Majesty. Long live her Majesty." And just like that, the room erupted. Ministers dropped to their knees like folding chairs. "Long live her Majesty. Long live her Majesty." Later, the two walked side by side toward Ming Kong's private quarters. They chatted, low-key like a royal couple with a pile of empires behind them. Gu said, "Still no news on the Heavenly Sword." "No worries, we can wait. The secret treasure of the Immortal Palace doesn't need to be rushed." Then with a hint of softness, "All the Upper Realm troops have returned. Honestly, I missed you back there." But Ming Kong hit him with a curveball. "Oh? You missed me? Is that why you took a concubine?" Caught. Gu Changge started sweating like a fraud caught on hidden camera. "W8. It's just a disguise. An identity." Ming Kong raised an eyebrow. "Then why can't I be a concubine?" Now Gu Changge was panicking like a man in a very slow, very public interrogation. He thought, "She's jealous?" And then in a desperate attempt at purity defense, he raised 3 fingers like he was pledging to the heavens. "And Ming Kong, I swear on my heart, I never touched her, not even once." Ming Kong stared at him, unimpressed. Gu Changge, sweating harder, threw in the bonus round, "I swear on my devil's heart too. I really didn't touch her." That did it. Ming Kong smiled a little. Just a little. She walked to the door, pushed it open, and said, "Come in." Gu Changge grinned, "Yes, Your Majesty." So a few days later, Gu Changge paid a visit to Ziji Danzong, and the moment he arrived, the whole sect basically turned into a fan club. "Welcome, young Master Changge." The disciples were practically lining up like it was a red carpet event. And of course, out came Sect Master Zian, who always carries herself like a graceful queen. Gu Changge flashed that signature smile and said, "It's been a while, Sect Master Zian. You've become even more beautiful and charming, flirting, level cultivator." Zian smiled right back, throwing it like a boomerang. "Compared to you, young Master Changge? Please. Your fame from conquering the 8 desolate lands in 10 regions has already spread across the upper realms." Then she added, "Chioan talks about you every single day." And cue entrance, Chioan. Bright eyes, gentle heart, and all the feelings she's been holding back. Master, is the 8 desolations and 10 realms finally over? Gu Changge opened his arms with a grin. Yep. Came to see you the moment I returned. Haven't even been home yet. And in the background, disciples were whispering like gossipy birds. Wait. Young Master Changge ran here before going home? He actually values junior sister Chohan that much? She's so lucky. Chohan, emotional from top to bottom, hugged him tight. It seems like you've been doing well. You're even close to the Holy Realm. That really makes me feel at ease. Can you stay longer this time? Gu Changge nodded softly. I'll stay a few more days, just for you. Her joy lit up the room. Very good. Zian, pretending to hide her face but secretly enjoying the drama, said, Why don't you two go talk in private? Translation, take your romantic tension somewhere else, thanks. Later, it was mealtime. Chohan offered him a dish with nervous anticipation. Sir, how is it? Gu Changge took a bite and asked with a smile, Did you make this yourself? Chohan, blushing hard, said, My cooking isn't very good. I hope it doesn't make you laugh. Gu Changge suddenly asked, By the way, have you learned the recipe for the purple extreme immortal pill? Chohan looked down. Chohan. Chohan has failed you, he gently called her name, then pulled her by the waist and sat her on his lap. It's fine. I know you've worked hard. Just keep trying, okay? Tears welled up in Chohan's eyes. In her mind, he's still the gentle prince from the past, kind, reassuring, and occasionally flirty in ways that melt your heart like a spiritual furnace. She perked up and said, Then, can I tell you about everything I've gone through at Zijidanzong? Gu Changge smiled, leaned in, Go ahead. And then dropped the line like a philosopher with a sense of humor, If you understand, you're an adult. If you don't understand, you're still an adult. Hee hee, classic Gu Changge, profound nonsense delivered with swagger. A few days later, Gu Changge strolled back into the Longevity Gu family. First thing he asked like a tired big brother, Is Sienna at home? The servant replied, My lord, Miss Sienna said she went out for retreat. Gu Changge narrowed his eyes and muttered like a dad whose kid keeps disappearing to study group, What corner has this little girl crawled off to again? Her cultivation barely moved, yet she's always busy. Then he shifted gears and asked, Any big movements in the upper realm recently? The servant began listing headlines like it was the 9 o'clock news. The red-robed demoness established a force called Demon Mountain. A bunch of immortal sects tried to gang up on her, and almost none of them made it out. Very few escaped. Gu Changge smirked a bit. Looks like her consciousness is back. She's definitely more herself now. Then came another update. The disaster from Juin Tian is spreading like wildfire. Saint Chuchu from the Human Ancestor Temple is leading resistance efforts with everything she's got. Gu Changge rubbed his chin and smirked again. Should I send that stubborn woman a few imperial gifts? Something like, a sword she can't return? Then, the servant leaned in and added a spicy twist to the tale. Oh, and a long-lost inheritor of magic arts just reappeared out of nowhere. Ambushed the heir of Zhang Xianfu and nearly wiped him out completely. That stopped Gu Changge mid-step. He turned around slowly, eyes narrowing with interest. The inheritor of magic power? And then thought to himself with a raised brow, Su Chinga. I didn't expect her to grow so quickly. Message from the author: Someone suddenly passed away last week, a happy funeral, and I rushed back to do some work, so I didn't have time to inform you. Sorry. Subscribe.
Like.
Comment.
Share.